In Revelation 3:20, we find a letter which was written to the church in a place called Laodicea. And in this letter, Jesus says these words to them. He says, "Behold," or listen, "I stand at the door and knock. If anyone hears my voice and opens the door, I will come into him and have dinner with him and he with me." The next verse says, "To him who overcomes, I will grant to sit with me on my throne, as I also overcame and sat down with my Father on his throne. He who has an ear, let him hear what the Spirit says to the churches." Moving on to the next chapter, chapter 4. "After this I looked, and there in heaven was an open door. The first voice that I heard speaking to me like a trumpet said, 'Come up here, and I will show you what must take place after this.' Immediately I was in the Spirit, and a throne was set there in heaven. One was seated on the throne, and the one seated looked like jasper and carnelian stone. And a rainbow that looked like an emerald surrounded the throne." Here we find Jesus saying to the people of this church in Laodicea, "I'm here. I'm so close to you, and I'm knocking, and I'm speaking. And I'm saying, can I come in and be a part of your lives?" Now remember, this is written to the people who belong to a church, and Jesus is asking if he can come and be a part of it. Sometimes we can be running around being so busy. We're doing good things, even working for the church, doing Christian things, but we forget all about God. He gets left out because we haven't got time to include him. So he has to knock to get our attention. But here we see he wants us to invite him in so he can invite us up. He wants us to be so close to him that we are seated with him. He wants us to be so close that we can see what he sees and how he sees. And he wants us to see what happens next. He knocks. He wants us to open our door to him so he can open his door to us. You know what amazing things are on offer and available to us if we put our hope and our trust in Jesus. But as I read these verses recently again, it got me thinking. Here is God showing us his heart. He's showing us what he wants for us, what is available for us. But as we look back at our lives, have there been times when God has been knocking and trying to speak to us, has been knocking and wanting us to do something, wanting something better for us, but we just haven't answered or we've missed it? And if that happens, why does it happen? One reason might be that we don't respond to Jesus is because we just don't hear, or we're not expecting to hear from him. This can happen when we're surrounded by other noise. One of the schemes and tactics of the enemy these days is noise. When we get so busy and have so many things going on around us, it can all just become a massive sound that drowns out God's knock. We can become so entangled in the activities of life and the cares and the worries of this world and all the noise that comes with it that we miss out when Jesus is calling. We can become so busy that we don't have time to stop and be still, and so we don't have time to listen. Also, there might be times and seasons in our lives where we take a step back from God, where we're not as close to him as we once were, and we start to drift away. Other things come and take priority. He still comes and knocks, he still speaks, still wanting to spend time with us, but because we change position, it becomes harder for us to hear. But Revelation 3:20, Jesus encourages to listen, to see, to be aware that he is calling and that he's speaking. He wants to come in. When I'm expecting an important call, I don't know about you, but I usually stay close to the phone. I might even keep checking it to make sure it's working. It's the same when we're expecting an important visitor to call. We stay close to the door. We might even sit by the window looking for their arrival. Sometimes to listen just involves moving closer to the one who is speaking. Today, I want us to be aware, and I want us to develop an expectation that Jesus is wanting to speak to each one of us. He has plans that he wants to share with us. He has things that he wants to show us, things that he wants us to see. And I want to encourage us to be ready. Let's spend time being still. Let's position ourselves and be on the lookout and listening for his knock. Let's listen for his call. Let's position ourselves in such a way that we do not miss him. And we don't miss anything he wants to do or say to us. May God bless you today. And I pray that you have a wonderful weekend practicing the listening and being still in the presence of God. And let's see what he will say to us today. Amen.